Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I wanted to show you guys another way to make your makeup stay on all day with liquid foundation. Not everybody is a huge fan of powder foundations, and I understand that. So I have perfected a technique and a routine with liquid foundation utilizing one of my favorite foundations, which is Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Plus. Awesome foundation. Of course, it is going to have a lot of powder as well, this entire look, but it really stays on. What I discovered was that if I did this exact routine the way that I showed you guys, it lasts for about 10 hours. So that's amazing. So I've been using this for work when I have to do other things and I want to look more polished. So I do this for that, and then I love the powder foundation routine as well if I want to do something a lot quicker. So this one definitely takes a little bit more time, but these products are awesome. Not all of them are pricey, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye. Okay, so we're going to start off by using MAC's SPF 50 Prep and Prime Skin Massage right here as your primer. You need to make sure you're using a really good primer that really does help with oil control, because you do need a good base to this. Then I'm going to go ahead with my MAC Pro Longwear and W35 concealer. You guys know I love this. It is amazing if you don't want creasing. So definitely my favorite. I'm going to put that on with the Samantha Chapman domed eyeshadow brush. Just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and put on our foundation. So I like to use the Matte Velvet Plus if I'm going to use liquid foundation. This one has really good oil absorbing properties in it to begin with, but it also just goes on so smooth and really does look like second skin. So I'm going to take some of this out. This is what the tube looks like. I'm not too much a fan of this type of tube. I like a pump better, but I'm going to work with it anyway. You don't need much of this foundation at all to get a flawless face. So I'm going to put that on with my MAC 130 brush right here, just so I can really buff it in. I love brushes like this for foundations for the summertime, especially because you really want to buff it in to look as natural as you possibly can. So I like to go in little round motions. And really get it in. The reason for why I did my concealer first is just because I wanted to bide my time before I put on foundation, just because I put on a primer before that. In order for my primer to work and not just slip off my face or rub off while I'm doing these little round motions, we need to make sure that it has really soaked in. It's had time to do that. So we buffed it in. See how real it looks. This is also the only liquid foundation that I've ever used that is able to go over my hyperpigmentation, dark spots, stuff like that, and not turn gray. So that's something that I really enjoy about this foundation, because most liquid foundations are not that good in terms of being able to hide your hyperpigmentation and not turn gray, because if you're going over a darker spot, your foundation's too light, it's going to turn gray. So if it goes over a darker spot of my face that this foundation is not suited for, it's supposed to turn gray, but it didn't. So I really enjoy that quality about this foundation. So while I let my foundation soak in, which is also really important, I'm going to go ahead and use this right here. This is the Ben Nye Pretty Pink Professional Face Powder. And I'm going to use this to actually set my under eye concealer and to brighten it up. So I'm going to use a Velour Powder Puff. This one's by MAC. I'm going to just hold it like this, just because it's easier to hold that way. Pick up a little bit of powder, just that much. I'm going to press it on this area. I know it looks crazy right now, but we're going to wipe it off towards the end. Alright, we've got that. Then I'm going to go into my MAC Prep and Prime Translucent Powder. This one I really like because it has really good oil control properties, but the reason for why I'm not using the Ben Nye Banana Powder is because this foundation is more a neutral tone for me. It's not pink toned or yellow toned. Therefore, I don't need to make it yellow toned, and with the banana powder, that's kind of what ends up happening because this powder does have color to it. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to use something that's translucent that literally is just for the purpose of setting my foundation, not to help change the shade of it any. So I'm using this. I will say though, this foundation method does not photograph well. This is my everyday like work foundation if I want to look more polished than going with a powder foundation. So that's what I'm trying to show you guys, but do not put this on for pictures. It does not look good. I am going to press this onto certain areas of my face that get super oily, like my nose, my little in-between eyebrow area right here, chin. So you're basically just setting your foundation with this. I know it looks like a lot of powder, but it will all soak in really well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a big powder brush like this, and you're going to just rub off all the excess. Including your under eye area. Then I'm going to liven up my color by using a bronzing powder. This is the Guerlain Terracotta Bronzer in the color 05. It's a really beautiful bronzer, and I'm going to use a fan brush like this to put it on. So I'm just going to get my top of the hairline and down the peripherals of my face. And then for my blush, what I'm going to do is use a rosy pink color. This is Blushbaby Blush by MAC right here. It is a matte pink, so I'm sticking to mostly matte things for my face right now. I just think that it looks good in the summer because your face, if it does get a little bit dewy too, it's still going to retain an overall sort of natural look. So I'm just going to put that on with a stippling brush like this. I find that with bronzers, this sort of matte pink blush looks really good. Sometimes if you don't use the right toned bronzer, if it's warm toned or cool toned, and then you use a blush in the opposite sphere, it doesn't always end up working out too well. So make sure you're picking out something that is going to look good with this. Alright, just very natural. And then what I like to do is I'm going to go into my MAC sculpting powder, and this is in the color Lightsweep right here. This is a pro product, but I really like it. Like from here it looks like nothing special, but wait until I put it on. It just looks beautiful. So I'm going to put that on with a brush like this. This is the Inglot 4SS. And I'm going to put this on under my eye. Very, very lightly, to add an extra layer of brightening to my under eye area. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the blush by MAC called Trace Gold, which is like this, but it actually works beautiful as a highlighter as opposed to a blush. So I'm going to put that on with a bigger version of the same brush that I used earlier. This is the Sigma F35. So I like to place it just right here. And I'm gonna warn you, like, I have watched back this video on my camera and things look really streaky on there, especially my bronzer. But I promise you in real life it does not. People have been telling me how gorgeous this whole look looks on me all the time. So it does not look like that on camera. That's the problem with HD camera. Sometimes you can see too much. But I think you guys will notice at the end of this look that it looks really good. So now a few different things. One, if you have really oily skin, I would really suggest pressing on the powder with this. I just think that these powders in general, like translucent powders, loose powders, look the best when it's pressed on, and it just really soaks into your skin and really helps with staying on, not melting off throughout the day, stuff like that. So that's why I use a velour powder puff. The MAC one is awesome. Two, one thing that I did not mention is that before, what I was doing is that I was using my oil-free moisturizer by Neutrogena, and then I was doing this whole method. That gave me about 7 hours of wear with this foundation to where I didn't have to dab. Then I switched over to the MAC Oil Control Lotion again. I used to use this a long time ago when I had like the oiliest skin on the planet. It really helped me, but then it became too drying when my skin started to become more neutral. So I used this again, and then with this, I actually have tested the same method out, and it's given me 10 hours of wear to where I didn't have to blot, which is insane. That doesn't usually happen on a daily basis. So I was really happy with that. So that's a little tidbit of information, but I'm going to finish up my eyes and lips and stuff like that. Then I will show you guys the finished look, what this looks like, and just so you guys can see a better view of it. Thanks. So here is the finished look, you guys. I don't know if y'all want me to zoom in, but basically this foundation is something that does look really good in real life. It does not photograph that well, so that's the unfortunate part of it, but it does look good. Let me show you guys one extra step. We have powdered a lot, which I think that all oily skin girls know is something that's pretty essential in making your makeup last. What you can do to take away this powdery effect, which I do as well, is I use the Skindinavia No More Shine makeup finish. You always have to shake it and then close your eyes and spray this in your face. I do about 4 pumps after I have my entire makeup look done. They tell you to use Skindinavia before and after you put on your foundation, but for this particular look, I am not using it for the makeup holding aspect. I'm using it because it makes your makeup look a little bit more realistic for every day. So that's why I sprayed this on. It kind of makes all the powders dissolve deeper into your skin and just look more lifelike and real. So that's why I like to use that. What I think is that if you give this about 10 minutes, it really looks good and lifelike. So that is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.